and welcome to the CYRUS community. This is Business Unusual. Another moment when we come together to discuss matters kingdom, because as we continue in the journey where God has brought us into, we are saying that if we are saying truly it is God, the creator of heaven and earth, we should be seeing manifestation in the earth. Because in the beginning God said, and there was. Now when he has said in our lives, we should be seeing. There must be something seen in the ground. Now, TCC, if you have heard us recently, we are so much emphasizing that it is a moment of the truth we have had in the spirit becoming a reality. The manifestation of that which God has spoken. That's where we are. And tonight, before we continue with our conversation, let's have a context of what we are about to engage in.
What we're about to engage in can better be called a Selah moment.
Okay.
What is a Selah moment? In scripture, you keep seeing certain things are said, especially in the Psalms, then you hear Selah.
Oh, yes.
In music, Selah is like a pause before the music climaxes or shifts. But what we're talking about this time, a Selah moment is a moment that says, pause and think. Let this reality sink in. Let the clarity of what you're about to do happen. It is the moment before the moment. It is that time when trajectory can shift suddenly. And or it could be that moment when you finally decide we are committed. Once we take off from here, there's no point of return.
Oh, yes.
That's what this is about. And why is this important? Because recently in interactions with some of you, interactions, not just with you, but in the greater body, in other relationships, as we discuss this new environment that God is bringing us into, there seems to be something emerging. And as we began to pay attention to it, I began to become more and more sensitive to it in conversations, more and more. It's like something is highlighted, then you realize everyone you're speaking to, this thing keeps to be creeping into the conversation. And what is that? This is what it is. We're entering a place where we all know we've come from two extremes. We've come from the extreme of spooky spirituality and the other extreme of secular function that has no God. But there's a new space we're entering into that's supposed to be the kingdom, which is supposed to be the central structure. But even as we engage there, there seems to be a certain dimension of our reasoning or interpretation that is still being informed by that history, still being informed by that residue. How? That when you hear something said, it's almost like in your mind, you've already divided it into two. Either this is something God is supposed to do, or this is something I am supposed to do. You're not able to merge and say, God wants it done through me. That merger point, that place where the divine and the material interact, that's a struggle point. So people tend to, if you ask a question, people tend to categorize. I'm waiting on God for this. I'm planning to do this. You don't see a synchronicity. A kind of, this that I am doing is what God is saying. Not God is doing and I am doing. Now, that may take time to finally settle. But today, that's part of what we're trying to close. I call it our schizophrenia. Our having two minds per time. Not understanding that we are supernatural. Supernatural. Spiritual natural. Our activity in the earth is a manifestation of a spiritual reality. So these are the things, these are the doors we need to close, which if we close, everything will work. So today, as we speak about where we are going, is to kind of help you locate what we may call a position that is limiting you from fully accessing where you really are already. So that would be our context.
And that's why we are saying, tonight we are telling people you have to locate yourself, locate, and then you find, okay, where am I supposed to be?
Yes.
Is this where I'm supposed to be?
Yes.
If not, relocate. If you do not relocate, you will suffocate.
Absolutely.
So if you want to call tonight's message anything, call it locate, relocate, or suffocate. We are currently aware that we're in a season to experience God's power to create wealth. We know that. And as far as the word we received is concerned, everything is in place. God has spoken, and the minute he speaks, you said that last week, that in God's space, it's a reality.
It's done.
When he said, let there be, in his space, he's also not waiting to see.
No.
He's not getting shocked when it happens.
Yes.
In his space, it has happened. So when we say that everything in his place, it's already done. It's completed. And we're in an environment called this is that. We are supposed to be looking back and saying, you know what? this thing you're seeing is that which was spoken.
Yes.
Whatever you're seeing in my life is that which you've been speaking all this time. When you see me operating, it is a manifestation of a prophetic word that has been spoken. That is what we call this is that moment.
Yes.
Now, this is where we call your kingdom come, your will be done. Now, we've said that a long time.
Yes.
This time, we are changing it to your kingdom has come,
Yes.
and your will requires to be done by me.
That's it.
Your will is here, and I'm the one who needs to do it. Yet, in this very moment, we may find ourselves in various stages that may not reflect the reality. You find one person who is saying, I'm waiting on God, like what you've just said.
Yes.
There's another one who is saying, listen, I feel like I've entered, it's like I've tasted, but I'm still not there. Another one says, listen, I even have the fruit of the land, but it's almost like this is such a massive thing. I don't believe it will happen through me.
Yes.
Now, today, we want to analyze honestly, where are you? And what do you need to do to fully manifest the current kingdom position, what God is expecting us to do.
Yes.
That's our talk today.
And that's where we are. So keep that in mind. Locate, relocate, or suffocate. And you'll soon see how that works. So we want to start identifying where we are, where we truly need to be. Now, to do that, we've broken it into 4 positions. 4 positions that will help us define where we are. And remember, these positions are a picture of where you are spiritually, mentally or intellectually, and physically or materially. Listen carefully. Each position that we're going to talk about is a position where you are spiritually, meaning your current interpretation and understanding of what God has said, where you are mentally or intellectually, what that translates to you. How do you interpret it? How do you see it? How, if I was to ask you, what does it mean? What you would say to me. And the third thing is where you are physically or materially. What has changed in your environment and how have you increased or decreased? Or what is it that you're walking in? What is progressively happening? In other words, that is tangible. We can see it. So in 3 dimensions, we're saying, I can find from this position is where you are actually, physically, where you are in terms of how you're reasoning, how you're perceiving things, and where you are in terms of your understanding of your current spiritual position.
So when you talk about spiritually,
Yes.
I mean like mentally, intellectually, and materially.
Yes.
You're saying every time God gives us a word,
Yes.
these 3 have to be together.
Exactly.
Most of the time we are there spiritually. Therefore,
Yes.
I'm praying and I'm talking spiritual talk.
Yes.
Not understanding. There must be a physical manifestation.
There you go.
Therefore, every word spoken should not fall to the ground.
Yes.
I must make sure everything God has spoken comes to being. Now, when you talk of the 4 positions, the first one is what we are calling miracle squatters.
Miracle squatters.
That's a good word, and we must identify ourselves and say, I have just recognized who I am.
Yes.
So give us a definition. Who is a miracle squatter?
No, and this is how it should work.
Yeah?
Don't ask, am I a miracle squatter? Because you know.
Yeah. Most of the time when you put down our comments, we say, am I?
No, you know.
No. This one you know.
Do you know if you're a miracle squatter? Who is a miracle squatter?
Tell us.
A miracle squatter is the guy who has arrived at a position that you can perceive the land. You know what the word said.
Yes.
You know how we're supposed to be entering the land. In fact, you can explain the land.
Oh, yes.
You've got clarity on what it is. You can tell us what the proceeding word is. Yet, what you want from God is a miracle.
So you can define these guys as the guys who,
Yes.
if you want to understand it, the wilderness.
Yes.
So here I am. I've been on a wilderness mode where God gave me water.
Yep.
There was a manna.
Yes.
There was cloud by day and
Yes.
pillar by night.
There
was a miracle happening in my life.
Yes.
This is a place where I did not know where to go until Moses spoke.
Exactly.
So this is a place I'm sitting. I'm a squatter.
Yep.
But I'm waiting for Moses to say,
Good.
arise.
Good.
Let God arise and let all his enemies be scattered.
Yes.
So this is a mentality of somebody who is sitting like in a wilderness positioning where you are saying, God, drop the manna.
So this is the person who's at the Jordan with the Red Sea mentality.
Has this person crossed over?
Not yet.
Okay.
You're at the Jordan. You've had everything. Joshua has already carried the ark. Everything is clear. It's time to cross over. But this is your mentality. You want the water to part. You don't want to part the water.
Somebody do it for me.
Somebody do it for me. Let someone else do it. If somebody will do, in other words, I'm ready to move, but God send someone.
Now you're saying this is somebody who's come from Egypt,
Yes.
walked the journey of the Red Sea.
Completely.
They have seen the miracles of
Yes.
Egypt, first of all. Remember, there were miracles there.
Yep.
They have gone out, and now they have seen the miracle of the Red Sea
Thank
parting.
you.
They have walked in the wilderness, and they have seen provision of God.
Yes.
This is not somebody who is ignorant. This is somebody in TCC who can say,
Yes.
I have seen the provision of God. I have seen God come through for me. I have seen this happen in my life. But you know what? When it comes to the Jordan, where it comes now, cross over to the promised land.
Yes.
I'm stuck.
I need someone. I'm waiting on someone. You're like at the man at the pool, you can't define the miracle. But you want someone else to do it. And yet, so when we talk about God prefers you to operate by a miracle or by a blessing.
You choose
You
miracle.
say, it's fine. Since both paths exist, I want the miracle.
Wait, God is saying, even though I work through blessing, I
Yes.
will always give you a miracle to
Yes.
get you unstuck,
Yes.
to get you to the next level. You
All you
decide,
hear,
this
miracle.
is me. Actually, they're
Yeah.
talking about
I don't
you.
want the blessing part. We can get there later. Right now, just give me a miracle. So any query we ask you, or any demand placed on you, it's almost like, listen, I'm ready for this, but God should move first.
You're waiting on God.
Yes.
God is wondering, for me, you're waiting for me to do what?
And you know,
I've already done everything.
yes, and you know the strangest thing, when they arrived at the Jordan, the Bible said manna stopped. Miracles have ended. But you want a miracle to enter the promised land.
And I think also when you hear, in the wilderness, we are being given manna.
Yes.
We cry out for water, we get. We come and pray and fast and just tell God, show up. God shows up.
Yes.
Now you wonder, wait, you're telling me in the wilderness there is honey, there is milk, but you're telling me the milk is in a packet.
Yes.
I have to go and take the packet.
So
No,
that's
that's what I
the
don't
thing.
want. That responsibility.
So you're ready to take a step,
Yes.
according to you,
Yes.
after someone else takes it.
Say that again.
I'm ready to
Yeah.
move, but you come for me. I'm ready to go.
You come for me.
Come for me, we go.
When you come for me, drag me.
Exactly.
Okay. Listen, there's somebody called the miracle squatter. This is somebody who has a mentality of the wilderness,
Yeah.
a place where you think because God was showing up for us as a cloud or as a pillar, God dropped for us manna, God has done this, our shoes never wore off. Somebody said, listen, who doesn't want such a life that is simple, where I don't need responsibility to carry this and to even meditate on the word?
Yes.
The miracle
How
squatter.
do you know a miracle squatter? One, you don't know what the next step is. From where you are, you don't know the next step is. Why? It's not your responsibility.
Moses, you go and hear.
Somebody else.
Joshua, you go and hear.
You put your foot in the river. Once it splits up and it is dry, I'll come.
When you come and find me in a place where Pharaoh has put me in bondage, you speak and
Yes.
cause the frogs to come.
Exactly.
You speak and turn the water into blood.
Yes.
You speak and change my environment.
Exactly.
Miracle
You're waiting
squatter.
for someone else to take a step before you take yours. And that someone else, you believe they're able to do what you can't. What makes you believe they can? So it's self-justifying. It's a very nice paralysis. What was the problem with the man at the pool? His problem wasn't healing. His problem wasn't the stirring. His problem wasn't an angel comes.
He
His
knew
problem
that.
was there isn't a man.
There's somebody else who must take
Yeah,
a step
someone's fault.
for me to
There's
move.
no one to take me, though I know where I should go.
The miracle squatter.
Miracle squatter.
Identify, am I sitting down waiting for
Yeah.
just something to happen? And you know what? When you find a miracle squatter, because it is not the people in the children of Israel interacting with God,
Yeah.
it is Moses, so they don't even know what they're waiting for.
No,
You're
they're
waiting
not
for
clear.
something to happen.
Exactly.
All I know, I need food, I need
Yes.
shelter, I need Moses. You do something,
Yeah.
any of this will happen.
Yeah.
So you're not even clear on the miracle you're waiting for. So even if God was to show up and say, okay, fine, tell me, what miracle do you want? Just a miracle.
No.
Anything, as long as it's a miracle.
What's the difference between the miracle squatter and the blessing walker? The miracle squatter waits for something supernatural to happen, then they move. The blessing walker moves and something supernatural happens.
So this blessing person does not wait for things to happen. They hear the word of God, and that word is enough to thrust them.
Exactly.
Move, to make them just move from where
Yeah.
they are to a new place.
God says,
Wow.
I'll bless the work of your hands. The miracle squatter says, bless me so I can work.
Okay. The blessing worker.
Walks and God blesses.
And God says, I will bless the work of your hands.
So there's a
Meaning,
work of your hand
go
that
and work.
God comes now to bless and causes a supernatural. The Jordan crosser steps when the water is at the flood and it parts.
that is somebody who has
the Red
trust.
Sea crosser waits for the stick to part the water, then crosses.
But the Jordan,
Steps, and the crossing happens after you step.
guys, you have to read those two events. Let me call them events.
Yeah.
When they were crossing the Red Sea and when
Yes.
they came into Jordan.
Exactly.
Where God said, when the feet of the priests
That's it.
touch the water,
It
it will
parted.
part. The feet.
Yes.
Before that, it was a rod.
Yeah.
Just put your rod.
Point.
It will just point. It will part.
Yes.
Now, guys, if you're a miracle squatter, you have to keep tracking so you know how to get out of where you are and
Yes.
where you are stuck. Now,
Absolutely.
there's a generation called the Gilgal residents.
Yes.
These are the position 2.
Position 2 is called the Gilgal resident. You know that Gilgal, I think I touched on it briefly
Yes.
in the conversation,
Yes.
means cycles. The place of cycles, loops. You're always in the same situation over and over. Now, these guys also know the season because, finally, Gilgal is across the Jordan.
Now, before we go to the definition of the Gilgal residents,
Yes.
can we talk about how they arrived there?
Yes.
What are they doing there?
These guys have crossed the Jordan.
They have already taken
They
that step.
have crossed. The water has parted. They have come across. But that's when Joshua says, God tells Joshua, circumcise them. We talk about that. We spoke about it on the,
Yes.
on the FC. And they have to heal. So Gilgal becomes the place of cycles, meaning even though they've entered the land, they don't seem to be able to move further. They seem to be stuck at a spot. They don't seem to be able to fully get into what God is doing.
And this is a generation that God said, after you circumcise them this generation,
Yes.
let them sit until they heal.
Yes.
Now, the residents here never get healed.
Yep.
They never get healed.
Yes.
Why? When I get healed, there's responsibility. I will walk.
Exactly.
So this is somebody who, when God says do something, you're like, my friend, I've not healed.
Yes.
I'm still sitting here.
Yeah.
They have already released the mentality of miracles.
Yes.
Actually trusted God and moved into the land.
Exactly.
Once you get here, it's almost like, okay, there's another hindrance. Remember, we said that the enemy will not just allow you to go and take your possessions.
Yes.
You have to push.
Yes.
There's something called I am going and I am going.
Yes.
So this person now discovered, wait a minute, you mean there's a sitting down to heal?
Yes.
I won't heal.
They just don't heal. And what does it mean to refuse to heal? It means to be paralyzed by former pain, failure, or mistakes. To be paralyzed by, notice, former.
Not current.
Yes, pain, failure, and mistakes. When I attempted this before, I failed. When I attempted to do this, I got a bad report. When this situation happened, I had pain. When I interacted with such people, they hurt me. You are paralyzed. So even when you hear something amazing is available, as long as the label looks like where you have been.
Paralysis is when somebody sees that label
Yes,
and they decide,
that's the same thing.
my feet cannot move,
Yep.
even though my mind is working and it can break down the
Yes.
land we are in.
Yes.
Because there are many people who will tell you, this land you're talking about, it sounds like, listen, if God can do this,
Yes.
seriously, this
Yes.
is what I want to do.
Yes.
To live. This is where I want to live.
Exactly.
I can see the pictures of that place forming.
Yeah.
I can hear the testimonies. But you know what? There is something that happened in my past. I am not willing to do this. There's a business that I opened that I'm feeling, you know what? That business has paralyzed me. I'm not able to stand.
Exactly.
Now, do you realize the paralysis we are talking about? Somebody has to make a decision.
Yes.
It is not something that requires a doctor.
Yes.
It's a decision.
And you need to handle it this way. The best way to handle healing is to operate as if you were never healed. You were always healed. I'll say that again.
Okay.
In other words, don't think of I had pain and now I have recovered. Recovery in the kingdom means there's no record of pain. It's as if I never had any pain.
So I don't have a history where I keep picking things
Exactly.
and saying, this tastes like what I used to see.
I've
That's
never
why I don't
eaten
like
this
eating
before.
this. This kind
Yes.
of business, that's why I don't want to start
Exactly.
this. This kind of a people, that's why I don't want to interact.
Yes.
This kind of a word.
I don't want to. I've had it before. I've had it spoken and I
Guys.
tried and it failed. It was preached to me before, we attempted, it failed.
So this is Gilgal residents,
problem.
people who are sitting down, waiting to heal, and yet they have decided, I'm not healing now. Do you know the problem with people at Gilgal? These people, as when they were told circumcise them, that moment of circumcision, there's bleeding.
Yeah.
Now these are people, when they touch you,
They never stop bleeding.
They leave you with blood.
Yeah. they never stop.
You will cause everyone around you to have the marks. And when you see somebody with blood, what do you think? Sickness.
You know,
I can't move. It actually paralyzes you even more.
You know what it means to touch people with blood? It means to judge people with the mistake of someone else.
Oh.
When I hear you say this reminds me exactly of. Therefore, you are like.
Because when you are touching, when I touch you with blood,
Yes.
it's not your blood.
No.
It's not your cut.
Yes.
It's not your wound.
Exactly.
But what are you carrying now?
You're judging me
So
with-
you're judging somebody with
Exactly.
the mistakes of another.
So the only time these people are able to move at all is that they only venture into something if somebody else takes the risk and succeeds.
Take
Yeah, you take the risk,
and succeed.
you succeed, then they come on board.
They have time. Because for you to watch me
Yeah,
take a
because they're
risk
refusing to
and
heal.
go through the process until I succeed,
Yes.
it means what have you
Yes.
been doing all this time?
Exactly. And the problem with that is that you are now being measured not by your speed, but by the speed of another. What if the one you're waiting for is also in Gilgal? What if the one you're watching is also in Gilgal?
So I'm waiting for a testimony of another. I don't
Yes.
want to create a testimony.
Yeah, yeah. So you'll always ask, who else has succeeded in this? Who has done this before?
Yeah.
That usually sounds like a very genuine question. No, it's a Gilgal question.
Who else has done
Because
this?
we live in a loop of failures, I want to see one person who broke the loop. If I find someone who broke the loop, then I'm interested in joining that person. You see?
You will always venture if someone else takes the risk
Yes.
and succeeds. I think
Yep.
for me that is serious, because when you talk of that, what do you mean that you're waiting for someone to succeed?
Yes. And if someone else takes the risk and fails, it confirms that you are right. Not knowing that they probably were not the ones meant to do it, you are the one meant to do it. That's why they failed.
Well,
Gilgal. Now, Gilgal is also driven by another very painful position. You're mistakenly driven by wanting to prove that to those who caused you pain that you made it. That is one of the most powerful loops of Gilgal.
remember what we said, yeah? And I'm sure you've watched last week's
Yes.
FC.
Yeah.
Remember we said circumcision is the removal of any flesh that is not required for you to make it in the next level in God.
Yep.
Actually, there's something that needs to come out here, because from here, if you have this flesh, it will not allow you to succeed. So one of that, when you talk of I want to prove to people, do you realize that's flesh?
Yeah.
That's what is being cut off.
Yeah.
Now, if you allow yourself to sit in this place, and you remember what you called it, there's a hill. What does the Bible call that place? The hill of?
The heel of the foreskin.
The foreskin.
Yes.
This is where you are. This is your conversation now. A place where you are looking at the fleshly thing, carnality, the natural, and you're looking, and your conversations are on the immediate.
Yeah.
It's time to say, listen, Gilgal, I am breaking the cycles. It's a place of loops, and I am breaking this one.
Now this connects very powerfully to the other issue at Gilgal. You still have a mammon bondage of self-preservation.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Remember, you're driven by a pain to prove. So mammon becomes your God because it's the only way you can prove. Okay? So how can you tell this is the problem? Where you're comfortable with letting those who hurt you or those who you believe to be lesser be amazed at where you have gone, but never stretch out a hand to bring them up. Notice the two scenarios. I have reached somewhere and I'm doing good, but I'm still driven by those who thought I was lesser before. So I need them to know that I'm doing good now. I also need others to in a sense, approve me, to tell me I'm doing well. So you go around people who are lesser than you so that they can always approve you that you're doing well. And here's the problem. When you do that, you will not be comfortable with helping raise them up to to where you are, because then you will lose your status.
So you're talking about people who still walk or live by sight.
Yes.
Are people who are looking around and
Yes.
deciding, by the way, me, I'm bleeding. And if I come to you, by the way, I will touch you with blood.
Yeah.
So avoid me.
Yes.
You understand? And you're talking about these are people, when you talk of Gilgal residents, they are people who are living in a loop.
Yeah.
And they have refused to heal.
Yes.
That is key.
Yeah.
So that you look at your life and say, what is this thing I'm priding in? By the way, I can never forgive this so and so.
Yeah.
I can never do this. You're feeling like you're saying a powerful thing by using the word never. And God is telling you, listen, as long as you're holding into that, you will sit in a place where you're not healing.
Yes.
And you're permanently bleeding.
It's true.
Now, there's a third position of a people who are paralyzed by comfort, and we need to see the difference between this group
Yes.
and the Gilgal group.
You see, Gilgal is paralyzed by pain,
This one's
paralyzed by pleasure. Interesting.
explain now this one.
Being
Paralyzed by pain,
Yes.
paralyzed by comfort.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember, all these people know the season we're in. Remember, they've entered the land. You must remember that. Now, this, when you're paralyzed by comfort, is when you get so excited about your breakthrough, but you're not bothered whether others enter their breakthrough.
And I think also why that is important
Yes.
is because the land is a place where we've entered, where we are now
Yes.
saying it's no longer I, but
Yes.
we.
Yeah.
And how do we know that? When Jesus came and when Jesus was teaching them how to pray,
Yes.
he never said, as Jesus, he never said, my Father. Jesus came and upped the game and said, listen, it's no longer it's no longer me, it is our Father.
Our Father.
He's not my Father.
Yes.
He's our Father. And you know, it
Yes.
sounds funny when you say he's not my Father, but until you
From
know
a
there's a
singular.
mentality when you come into the land, you no longer say, by the way, my Father said,
Yes.
listen, our
Our Father
Father,
said.
because he has a mission.
You are my family.
Yes, and he has a mission, and we are the family that is accomplishing what our Father. So I am not accomplishing what my Father is saying.
Yes.
And you accomplish what your Father is saying. No, listen,
we are all.
our Father.
And what brings us here? Remember, comfort comes because you've come through a long and hard journey. A journey of worries, a journey of bills, a journey of situations, a journey of debt. All these things have been pressure for years, more than you understand.
Yes.
Then suddenly you enter the land. You begin to thrive in the land. Things are working out. You no longer have those pressures on you. Suddenly you've entered a place you almost dreamed about. A place you did not know can actually exist.
Yeah.
Now that level of comfort may get you to reach a place where you only now see how well God has pleased you. And here, by the way, you're very thankful. Please understand. You're not forgetting.
Yes.
You're thankful to God. In fact, you're so thankful to God because he's been good to you and you never even imagined you can arrive here. Now, the issue is not the problem of you've received. The issue is not that you're not thankful to God, but it's almost like, whew, I have arrived. You find your way here.
Please come along.
Yeah,
and this
because
is
I
also
have
the
arrived.
group
Yes.
when we say that it is our season to pick our harvest.
Yes.
When you say shake the tree,
Yes.
somebody tells you know what? That strength I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't need to shake the tree because the minute you talk of shaking the tree, you stop talking about me. You're talking about us.
Yes.
You can never have a mango tree shaken for one mango. That one you pick. This group picks their mangoes, what they need for now,
Yes.
for themselves, for just to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Shaking the tree, you're shaking for others.
Exactly.
The mangoes that fall off that tree, they're not just for you. And you're not ready for otherness.
Yes.
You're not ready for otherness.
Yes.
So this is a group that says, you know what? I can see the tree. But as long as I can climb and take what I need, shaking, leave it for another.
Yeah.
That's another group.
That's another group.
Yeah.
Yes. So now we want to stay on this group a bit and show you in scripture who these groups are likened to. When you're in this group, you're like the tribes of Reuben and Gad. Two tribes. Very interesting. These tribes preferred to settle next to the Jordan. They were only concerned about their inheritance. In other words, when these tribes arrived, in fact, let's look at what Moses says to them. Because they arrive and they see this side of the Jordan is good. That's what we're talking about. They are what? Paralyzed by comfort. So let's read Numbers 32, 6 to 7.
And Moses said to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war while you sit here? Now why will you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord has given them?
So look at that.
Wow.
Moses says, what are you doing? By you sitting and settling only on yours, you are discouraging the others from entering theirs. So it's interesting. They make a request, and this land is truly, God said they'll possess the land. Now, Moses has no problem with them possessing, but has a problem with them now wanting to delink themselves from the others and let everybody, you fight your fight. All right? The good thing is that this rebuke landed well.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, they received the rebuke and adjusted their position. Rather, they relocated. Let's look at verse 16 to 19.
Then they came near to him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our livestock and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will be armed, ready to go before the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place. And our little ones will dwell in the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our homes until every one of the children of Israel has received his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance has fallen to us on this eastern side of the Jordan.
Look at their response. Their response is so profound that we have to pick key issues, because we are showing you how to be unstuck at this place, how to relocate.
Yes.
First, they said something clear. We understand. We have our inheritance here and we shall fortify it, meaning I've entered mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Then they said, we will not rest until the others have entered the inheritance. If anything, we'll be in the forefront of the war to establish this. We will pioneer. We'll be the ones who are pushing others to enter. Now, you must understand, this kind of pushing is very strange. They are pushing for the others to enter, yet they are clear that they have no inheritance in the land of their brethren.
Where we are pushing you to enter,
It's not
we
for
don't
us.
own. It's not for
It's
me.
not for us.
But I'm going to do it, and
Yes.
I will not rest. That's a powerful statement.
Yes.
That we shall not rest until
You enter. And I'm not doing it to have a share in yours. I've already understood I have mine.
I think
So
that one you need to repeat, because that could be the place where
Yeah.
many people are stuck.
Yes.
I think that if I push you to enter your inheritance,
Yes.
you're telling me that, wow, you will have a part of mine.
yes, that's not what was going on. They were clear. We've gotten ours. In fact, we were the early ones. Now this is, guys, this is a heavy thing. It means if you're the early inheritor, you have a responsibility.
Always help someone.
That
go.
is huge. And that
Always
is,
look at
don't
what
be
God-
paralyzed by comfort.
Yes, and also looking at what God has done for you,
Yes.
and asking yourself, are you happy that a whole generation is going to live like this?
That was the
A
question Moses
place
asked.
where, are you happy that we are all going to be in a place where we no longer come to each other or see an SMS from somebody that, please, I'm being locked out. Can
Yes.
you please help me? Come
Yes.
to a place of saying, imagine there's a generation that can say, we're in the land where the Lord watches over,
Yes.
it receives water of heaven,
Yes.
and in this place there is plenty for everyone. It is my joy to
Yes.
see you
Yeah.
make it.
So these
That's a
guys
powerful
are already
place to be.
thriving.
Yeah.
But now they have a new assignment. They've gone into the forefront of a new assignment. Their joy is to do whatever it takes to see their brothers thrive.
Do not be paralyzed by comfort.
Yes.
Do not be in a place where I can pay my bills, I don't care about you. Don't be in a place where you think the kingdom is so small that it is just about us and the resources are so few
Yes.
that if I try to involve you, you will
And
you'll
don't,
do
you
it.
see,
There's something I want to say here. You'll do what my resources?
you cause them to dwindle. You will reduce me.
You will reduce my resources. That's
No,
what
you
my
won't.
mind is thinking.
No,
We
you
have
won't.
to come to a place of saying, listen, my joy is to see a generation walk through. And that's why when you, like you said,
Yeah.
there's always a generation who inherits first.
Yes.
This generation will not rest. This
Yeah.
generation will always say, listen, what can I do?
Yes.
When I hear of an opportunity, when I see an opportunity, because when you get an inheritance,
Yes.
in that inheritance are opportunities.
Absolutely.
In whatever
Absolutely.
God is doing for, God can never give you something
Yes.
that is just for you.
Absolutely.
It is for others. Now,
Yeah.
position 4. Remember, we're talking about 4 different groups of people.
Yes.
We've talked about the miracle squatters.
Squatters.
These are people in the wilderness who do not want to move. Now, the miracle squatters cannot comprehend paralyzed by comfort.
No.
They can't understand weight.
You mean you've arrived? You can have. There's a place people have.
Oh, there's a position 4, guys. There's
Yes.
a place that is called the tree shakers,
Exactly.
the miracle makers, the guys who perceive and take everything that God has said. The people who say, listen, the word has come. And this word, I will not rest until it becomes flesh and
Yes.
dwells among us. These are the tree shakers.
And this position is a power position, yet it has dimensions. The kingdom is amazing.
Wow.
Because even Jesus talks to you about the parable of the sower. Then even the one that gets a harvest, he still divides it. 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. So even within the tree shakers, there are dimensions of growth. Now ideally, this is where we all ultimately want to be. These are people who've not only embraced the present reality, both in word and in action.
Yes.
And as they shake their tree and the fruits begin to fall, now they have to activate a new reality. Like I said, 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. What does that mean? It means you have abundant fruit that has seed in it. That is 30-fold. Meaning, what I am getting, there is enough to eat, and there is enough to reinvest, and there is growth tied to it.
And remember what we said about gleaning?
Yes.
There is enough for people to glean.
Exactly. Meaning, there's fruit and there's seed. There's enough to be to bless, and there is enough to be a blessing.
Oh, yes.
All right? Now, the blessing moves into a new dynamic now. A blessing, guys, I'll say that again. 3 times. A blessing, guys, is not charity. A blessing is not when you give somebody something. You can handle that at abundance. Remember the guys of comfort. Here, a blessing means activating people to be blessed.
Are we still talking of 30-fold?
30-fold.
That's how powerful it is. In God, when you talk of 30-fold, this is the first
Yes.
group. Remember, you're talking of 30, 60, 100.
Yes.
The 30-fold can
30-fold.
activate.
Fruit and seed. God who causes bread
And seed
and
today.
seed. That means what is seed? Empowering another for growth. Seed is not meeting someone's need. Seed can't be eaten.
This is where we are saying we are in nations.
Yes.
All right? Let's use Kenya, for example. You're in Kenya and God tells you, listen, you've entered the land. There's a word in your life that has caused everything around you
Yes.
to open up. When things start opening up,
Yes.
bring your brother.
There you go.
It talks about Daniel, when Daniel was in power in Babylon.
Yes.
And he's supposed to be having people in positions. He brought his brother.
Yeah, brought the 3.
The 3 Hebrew boys.
Yes.
And he put them in positions.
They were governors,
They
the
were
Bible
governors
says.
in the same place.
Yes.
Meaning, whether I'm employed or I'm in business, as I walk, remember what we said. Every time God gives you inheritance,
Yes.
inheritance goes beyond you.
Yes.
Not only, we're not saying employ people in your company. No. We are saying as you increase, you will see opportunities around
There you go.
Bring your brothers.
That's why we're going into
Call
the
someone.
60-fold. 60-fold is when you enter what you call multiple streams of productivity. Multiple. If there was a particular tree, it meant that tree, let's even say mango or orange, whichever
Yes.
tree you want.
Yeah.
There would be the fruit, but there would be the multiple other opportunities. There would be juice. There'd be factories. There'd be whatever ingredients.
So in one tree,
Yes.
you find herbs.
Yes.
And there's somebody who tells you herbal, here I can come and do ABC.
Yes.
There's somebody telling you juice. There's somebody
Exactly.
who is telling you, in one tree,
Yes.
how many things can come out? There's somebody who is telling you oil. In
There
the
you
same
go.
coconut tree,
There
there's
you go.
oil. There's soap.
So do you see
There's-
why you become a blessing? 60-fold, you begin to expand. That something begins to grow. It goes beyond. In other words, at 60-fold, people can start having trees because of you.
Oh, stop. I want to ask a question here. Let's take something that has so many uses.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a palm oil.
Yes.
Palm tree.
Yeah.
Many uses.
Yes.
Now God opens up for me,
Yes.
and I end up in my 60-fold, which is, for example,
Yeah.
palm oil.
There you go.
Explain me that.
Now at palm oil, because I'm that producer, how many people can become vendors? How many people can literally take the palm oil, turn it into soap, turn it into something
Cosmetics.
else, turning into cosmetics, turning into, can you see you've become a blessing?
So when God says, I will bless you,
Yes.
you will become a blessing.
Exactly.
Now there are many people at the blessing point
Yes.
where they feel like, okay, wait, are you sure when I enter into the blessing, I'll be able to now open up doors for people?
You see?
God
You
tells
can't
you
deal with that.
inheritance.
You can't enter tree shaker if you're struggling with comfort.
Wow.
When you're still thinking how much my environment is, you can't enter comfort if you're struggling with healing. Because there's never enough.
Yes.
You can't even enter healing if you haven't crossed over.
If you're still thinking of miracles.
Do you see? Now comes 100-fold.
Yeah.
100-fold, remember, we must never miss why God gave the power to create wealth. Said, I will bless you and you will be a blessing.
Yes.
Through you, nations shall be blessed. Now
Okay.
let's see 3-fold. I will bless you 30-fold.
Yes.
And you will be a blessing 60-fold. Through you, nations will be blessed
100-fold.
Now let me explain. A blessing is the ability. Listen, this is now our terminology for where we are. A blessing is the ability to bring profitable transformation. Listen, a blessing is the ability to bring profitable transformation to an individual, 30-fold, to a family, 60-fold, to a community
Or nation.
100-fold. So, the question you must always ask when you're shaking your tree, am I at the individual blessing level?
Where you can bring transformation
To an individual.
Wow.
Am I at the family blessing level? Am I at the community blessing level?
Now, can you say something here? This person, this is a blessing who is transforming the lives of a family.
Yes.
This family is not in the wilderness.
No.
This is a family in the land.
Yes.
Today, if I have this forest of palm trees, do you realize I can tell someone, listen, I have lots of palm oil.
Yes.
You as a family,
Yes.
you can take portion of this and
Yes.
start a business with it.
Exactly.
But the business you're doing has nothing to do with what I had even seen.
Exactly.
God opens the eyes of another and say, wait a minute, with the same palm oil, you are going into cosmetics.
There
Me,
you
I'm
go.
going into hair.
Yes.
Same product. You are going into that. I am going into cooking. Same oil. And you're like, okay, listen, I can change the life of a family if I allow God to use me. Family here meaning there's somebody somewhere who will enter blessing
Yes.
because of you.
Absolutely.
Lot was
Exactly.
blessed because of Abraham.
That's the principle. Ultimately,
Powerful.
what does God want us to do? To be a blessing to nations.
That's the thing.
So the question is, at which level of blessing are you? Have you even seen your tree? Because ultimately, it is not, you have to get past comfort. You notice we dealt with comfort before we go to the tree. The tree is not the comfort place. The tree is because you already have gone past comfort. So whenever God moves from a location, and this is the problem, at whatever location you're supposed to be, God's intent is for you to be at the ultimate location, which is called tree shaking.
Yes.
If God moves, per time, God is okay with you. There's a time God is okay with you being at the miracle level. There's a time. But if the spiritual clock has moved and God has changed location, you will suffocate there. If you are at Gilgal and God has moved, you will suffocate there. If you are at comfort and God has moved, you will suffocate there. It's only at tree shaking that it's a permanent, continuous growth.
Wow. Growth.
Where
Growth.
God is permanently dwelling. That is where He's operating from.
Yes.
Now, what does suffocation mean? Because we say suffocate, suffocate, suffocate. Again, in our context, suffocation basically means stagnation. Let me tell you what that means.
Stagnation.
Stagnation. Let me tell you what that means. Every time I ever interact with you, if you're a miracle squatter, 6 months later, if I have a conversation with you, you're still discussing miracle squatting issues. That's
So you are
stagnation.
stagnant
You never move.
in the wilderness,
You never move from
waiting for a miracle.
Yes.
Things never change. You are still trusting God for rent. You're
Exactly.
still trusting God for food or
Yes.
for clothes or for
Yeah.
healing or for something.
Yes.
It's almost like there's this thing that has kept me in one
Exactly.
position. Stagnation.
Yes. If you're at Gilgal, even if I go away for 6 months, if I come back, you're having the same conversation of pain. Of
You're
who hurt
still
you.
crying over the same pain.
Exactly.
Or even new pain now.
There you go. That's where you live. That's your loop. If you're in comfort, if I go away for 6 months, I find you exactly there. You see, the only place that is not static is tree.
Wow.
30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. It's always in motion. Okay? Now, if you experience the same situation every time, no matter when I meet you, that is, it is so bad that you reach a place where you've so experienced that behavior that it has become your name. We identify you with it. We say, this is the Susan who's always complaining. What does that mean?
You've now become one with your environment.
You've become one with the environment. That's what is called suffocation.
Can you imagine you known to be the person who murmurs all the time? The murmurer is here.
There you go.
Complainer is here.
There you
Sympathy seeker is here.
Yes.
The beggar. Look at all the bad names. And the enemy makes sure those names are so bad
Yes.
that when you hear them, they actually demotivate you further.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
And that's why we are saying good news to the miracle squatters.
Yeah.
There are no miracles. Crossover.
Move quickly.
Good
Your current
news.
position cannot be comfortable.
Good news to the Gilgal
Yeah,
resident.
you can be healed.
Heal,
Move
man.
to comfort.
Time to heal.
Move to comfort.
Good news to the people who are paralyzed because of comfort.
Yes.
It's time to shake your tree. It's time to say, listen, I'm pregnant and I want to birth. I want to see that baby. You know
Yes.
why? There's something attached to that baby.
Yeah.
There's something when I birth, there'll always be longevity
Yes.
and there'll always be legacy. I want to move to the next level.
That's the
But you
reality.
know what? There's a place called the tree shakers.
Yes.
The people who are saying, I am saying, in the earth, people will know God because of me. In the earth, I will become the manifestation of a prophetic word. In the earth, I will be the one people will be looking at and saying, God said, and we can see it here. You become that person. That tree shaker,
Yes.
it is not by mistake.
No. You know where it starts? It starts at comfort. Remember the two tribes? What did they do? They made a quick shift during comfort. If you want to enter tree shaking position, you begin to get obsessed, literally, by your brothers entering. It begins
Yes.
to bother you that others haven't made it. You become, listen, some of you know my wife. She's been nagging you to move.
You have to
She's
make
been
it.
fighting you, getting in touch, giving you voice notes, move. In other words, you get a place where you are obsessed with your brother making it. They said we shall go to the front line
To make sure.
to make sure everybody, and not for us because we know our inheritance.
For somebody else.
You do that, you'll just, you push like that. You find yourself in the tree shaking environment.
Yeah.
You didn't know how you are alive because tree shaking mentality is born when you shift the comfort position.
TCC, have you located yourself? Are you ready to relocate? I know none of us will suffocate, I can tell you. Because we will do whatever it takes for our brothers to enter. We will be at the forefront to push you, to make sure you enter where God has called you. And remember, it is about you getting into what God has called you into so that you bring others into what God is saying.
Absolutely.
It is all about Him. It is about heaven finding a habitation in the earth through your life.
Yep.
And that's why we say, may you be found sitting under your vine and under your fig tree.